Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Mark Lynn. Namaskar. Coming up in the next hour. India and Oman signed 5 MOUs across IT to culture. Prime Minister Modi and Sultan Tariq discuss trade, space, counter-terrorism, green energy. Even cricket. Sultan Tariq is on a state visit to India. Kuwait's Emir Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmad Al Sabah dies aged 86. The Emirate announces 40 days of mourning and 3 days of closure. The Crown Prince Sheikh Meshal Al Ahmad Al Jabbar Al Sabah is the new Emir. Israeli officials and Qatari interlocutors of Hamas due to resume their ceasefire and hostage negotiations in Norway. And India's Prime Minister Modi flags off Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra for making India a developed nation. The movement targets to reach every beneficiary with 100% saturation of government schemes. Prime Minister Modi expresses happiness at its impact across the country. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Sultan Haytham bin Tariq of Oman held delegation-level talks. They discussed the historic rich ties between India and Oman and adopted the India-Oman Joint Vision document titled A Partnership for the Future. Here's our report.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi held talks with Sultan of Oman, Haytham bin Tariq in New Delhi. PM Modi warmly received the Sultan of Oman at Hyderabad House, setting the stage for bilateral discussions. The agenda included taking stock of bilateral ties and charting pathways for the future collaboration between the two countries.
सदियों से भारत और ओमान गहरी मित्रता के अटूट संबंध रहे हैं। अरब सागर के एक छोर पर भारत है तो दूसरे छोर पर ओमान है। हमारी आपसी निकटता केवल भूगोल तक सीमित नहीं है, बल्कि ये हमारे हजारों वर्षों से चले रहे व्यापार और संस्कृति और हमारी समान प्राथमिकताओं से भी झलकती है। इस यशस्वी इतिहास के बलबूते पर हम एक उज्जवल भविष्य की संरचना कर रहे हैं।
At the bilateral talks, India's PM Modi said India and Oman are adopting a new joint vision for future. He stressed that the joint vision would enhance the partnership between the two countries.
आज हम एक नए इंडिया ओमान जॉइंट विजन अ पार्टनरशिप फॉर फ्यूचर को एडॉप्ट कर रहे हैं। इस जॉइंट विजन में 10 विभिन्न क्षेत्रों पर ठोस एक्शन पॉइंट्स पर सहमति बनी है। मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि जॉइंट विजन हमारी साझेदारी को एक नया और आधुनिक स्वरूप देगा। मुझे खुशी है पक्षों के बीच सीपा एग्रीमेंट पर चर्चा जारी है। इस वार्ता के 2 राउंड सफलतापूर्वक संपन्न किए जा चुके हैं, जिसमें कई महत्वपूर्ण मुद्दों पर सहमति बन चुकी है। मैं आशा करता हूं कि हम जल्द ही इस एग्रीमेंट को साइन कर पाएंगे, जिससे हमारे आर्थिक सहयोग में एक नए अध्याय का जुड़ना हो जाएगा।
Both countries signed several MOUs relating to information technology, cooperation in the field of culture, combating financial crimes, and establishing Hindi chair of the Indian Council for Cultural Relations in Oman.
Both countries had also signed MOU, including in the field of information technology, cooperation in the field of culture, combating financial crimes, and of course establishment of a Hindi chair of ICCR in Oman. Secondly, again an area which featured very prominently in the discussions between the two leaders was ongoing discussions between the two countries for a comprehensive economic partnership agreement.
Foreign Secretary Vinay Quatra further added that India shares a special relationship with Oman and the relationship evolved into a strategic partnership.
A significant achievement in terms of India-Oman trade and capital cooperation was the announcement of the third tranche of the Oman-India Joint Investment Fund. This fund would be worth $300 million, approximately 2,500 crores. Purely as a point of elaboration, the fund was established as a 50-50 joint venture between the State Bank of India and the Oman Investment Authority, which essentially channelizes investments into the fastest growing sectors of the Indian economy.
Earlier on Saturday morning, the Sultan of Oman was accorded a ceremonial reception at the forecourt of Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Draupadi Murmu received the Sultan at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. With inputs from Amritpal Singh, Shagnik Chakraborty for DD India.
And later in the evening, the Sultan of Oman met India's President Draupadi Murmu at the Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi. The Sultan of Oman then proceeded to take part in the banquet hosted by President Draupadi Murmu. The official banquet in honor of the visiting dignitary was attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, top government ministers of India, as well as the Speaker of the Lower House of Parliament of India, the Lok Sabha. The Sultan of Oman is on a 3-day state visit, and part of the state visit is the banquet hosted by the President of India, which took place this evening, attended by top dignitaries of both the government of India as well as from the Omani side. These are visuals of the banquet that took place in Rashtrapati Bhavan, the President's house. And the Sultan of Oman, Sultan bin Tariq, also had a one-on-one interaction with President Murmu at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Well, India's Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar also met the Sultan of Oman, Haitham bin Tariq, in New Delhi on Saturday, and both leaders discussed a wide ambit of bilateral relations in the light of the historic relationship that India and Oman enjoy. Well, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Saturday virtually interacted with beneficiaries of the government's welfare schemes under the outreach program called Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra. The Prime Minister also addressed the gathering on the occasion.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with beneficiaries of the Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra on Saturday via video conferencing. Prime Minister Modi flagged off the Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra in India's 5 poll states where assembly elections were recently held. While addressing the gathering, PM Modi emphasized the pivotal role of cities in resolution for a developed India. He noted that historical development had been confined to few major cities post-independence, but the government is now prioritizing the development of Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities.
ये हमारी ही सरकार है जिसने कोरोना काल में छोटे उद्योगों को बचाने के लिए लाखों करोड़ रुपए की मदद भेजी। जहां दूसरों से उम्मीद खत्म हो जाती है, वहां से मोदी की गारंटी शुरू हो जाती है।
In its one-month journey, the Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra has reached thousands of villages as well as 1,500 cities, which include smaller cities and towns. In an interaction with one of the beneficiaries, Prime Minister Modi stated that Atmanirbhar women of the country are not just sustaining themselves but also becoming a boon for others.
हमारे शहर, हमारी युवा शक्ति और नारी शक्ति दोनों सशक्त करने के बहुत बड़े माध्यम है। मोदी की गारंटी वाली गाड़ी युवा शक्ति और नारी शक्ति दोनों को ही सशक्त कर रही है। इसका अधिक से अधिक लाभ आप सब उठाएं और विकसित भारत के संकल्प को आगे बढ़ाएं।
Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra is being held across the country with the aim to ensure that the benefits of flagship schemes of the government reach all targeted beneficiaries in a time-bound manner. DD India's Rahul Upadhyay reports.
And the Indian Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman addressed the Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra in Thiruvananthapuram on Saturday, and the Finance Minister described the Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra as a march towards a developed nation as envisaged by Prime Minister Modi.
Whether it is Ujjwala, Jan Dhan Yojana, Mudra Yojana, Swanidhi Yojana. So for each category there is a scheme through which help reaches them. If help reaches all of them, that family will be in a position to make a decision as to how they want to move forward. This Viksit Bharat Yatra, Sankalp Yatra, where all of us will have to take the Sankalpam that we have to take so that we'll contribute. We'll become party to building India to be a developed country by 2047. That is behind this Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Surat in Gujarat and also Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh on the 17th and 18th of December. On Sunday, the Prime Minister will inaugurate the new integrated terminal building at Surat Airport and will inaugurate the Surat Diamond Bourse. Thereafter, Prime Minister Modi will travel to Varanasi and will participate in the Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra there. The Prime Minister will also inaugurate the Kashi Tamil Sangamam 2023 at the Nammo Ghat in Varanasi. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the new integrated terminal building in Surat. This is off the airport there on Sunday. The terminal building is equipped to handle 1,200 passengers during peak hours, and elevating Surat Airport to international status will increase passenger traffic and cargo operations. Meghna Dev spoke to the Surat Airport director. Let's listen.
The Surat Airport will now be called Surat International Airport, and to talk more on the expansion of the Surat Airport and its international status, we are joined in by Rupesh Kumar, who is the Airport Director of Surat. Thank you so much, sir, for talking to DD India. We know that the Prime Minister will be inaugurating this airport. What do you have to say about the expansion and specifically when it will be called the International Airport?
It was long awaited improvement of Surat Airport. Now it is the Surat International Airport. Now that Surat Dubai has already been announced, Surat Sharjah is already been operating 5 days a week. Now, as far as that facility is concerned, we have all the facilities available now in our terminal building, which is required, which is necessary for the international terminal. We have we are going to introduce 2 executive lounges in our terminal building and some other facilities like we are introducing that so many artwork in the terminal building which will depict the culture of Gujarat.
What more areas or countries or connectivity are we looking at in the near future?
We are looking the connectivity from Surat. We are looking for Hong Kong connection, looking for the Singapore connections, and some European countries and US also, at least that connecting flights where Surat, Dubai, London or Surat, Dubai, New York, like it is long awaited and it is required also because it's one of the most growing city of in the world, and this is the hub for diamond cutting and polishing and textile industries.
Thank you so much, sir, for talking to us and explaining to us. When the expansion will take place with a surge in passenger traffic and also cargo traffic, we will definitely see more passengers, and the expansion of this terminal can also be done depending on how much passenger traffic this airport witnesses. With camera person Aniket Dubey, this is Meghna Dev for DD India from Surat.
Well, the promotion of Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat, or One Nation, the Best Nation, has been one of the major focus areas of the government, guided by the vision of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Now, the second edition of the Kashi Tamil Sangamam, this focuses on translating Tamil literature into various other Indian languages. Ajay Mishra spoke to the registrar of the Central Institute of Classical Tamil.
The Namo Ghat of Varanasi is all set to welcome the second edition of Kashi Tamil Sangamam here in Varanasi. I have with me Dr. R. Bhuvaneshwari, who is the Registrar of Central Institute of Classical Tamil, who is associated with this project of translating Tamil literature into other languages. Thanks very much, ma'am. What is the end motto of the translating Tamil literature into other languages, and what is currently doing? What are you currently doing?
So our Central Institute of Classical Tamil, mainly focusing on translating and doing research on the classical Tamil language, and it is focusing on mainly translating the available 41 literatures to the other languages, Indian languages, and also the foreign languages. And the main motto of this translation is to reach out to the people and take the information available in the classical text to the people of the world, and it will benefit the society. And not only the classical language not only focuses on the literature, but also the wide information is available in all the classical texts, and not only in Tamil but also in other languages too. And in future we'll be focusing on translating other literatures, other language literatures to Tamil.
Thanks very much. So the translation of the Tamil literature, not only in the other languages but also in the special Braille languages for the visually impaired, is one of the prime focus of this second edition of Kashi Tamil Sangamam. With camera person Uttam Singh, Ajam Study News, Namo Ghat, Varanasi.
Students who travelled by train to Varanasi from Chennai to take part in the second Kashi Tamil Sangamam, they thank Prime Minister Narendra Modi for providing them with a chance to learn about the customs and legacy of the connection that Kashi and Tamil have.
It has been a great 2-day long journey, and we have completed this. All the people of Nagpur, Jabalpur have given us warm welcome for this Kashi Tamil Sangamam. And today we are very much glad that we are going to travel to Ayodhya, the Ram Janma Bhoomi, and Kashi of Varanasi. It is a great opportunity, and we thank our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji.
We are here to visit a Kashi. We are so excited to see what are all the cultures and tradition between Tamil Nadu and Kashi. By this opportunity, I will thank the Honorable Prime Minister and the Education Ministry for this opportunity.
Still to come here on DD India News Hour. Vijay Diwas, marking India's triumph over Pakistan in the 1971 war, celebrated. India's Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal launches Logistics Ease Across Different States 2023 report. Day 661 of the Russia-Ukraine conflict.
Never stops, where information shapes our reality. One app stands out, helps you stay ahead of time. Introducing the DD India app, your gateway to a world of news right at your fingertips. Your most trusted source of news goes global, goes digital. Explore a world of options, top stories, live updates, in-depth analysis, and more. Stay informed wherever you are. Real-time alerts keep you ahead of the curve always. The DD India app, connecting you to the world, one story at a time. Download now and explore the world of knowledge, insights, and authentic information.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lin. India is celebrating Victory Day to commemorate the Indian victory in the 1971 war, which went on for 13 days and resulted in the surrender of 93,000 Pakistani soldiers to the Indian Army. This was the largest surrender across the world after the end of World War II and resulted in the formation of Bangladesh. Akshay Dongre reports.
World's largest surrender after the World War II. 93,000 Pakistani soldiers surrendered their arms to the Indian Army, which marked the end of the 13-day war between India and Pakistan on 16th December 1971. The war, which was fought on multiple frontiers of land, water and sea, resulted in the creation of Bangladesh. 16th December is now celebrated in India as Vijay Divas or Victory Day. The war had its roots in the Bangladesh Liberation Movement, a revolution and armed conflict which was sparked by the rise of Bengali nationalism and self-determination movement due to atrocities being committed on the Bengali population by Pakistani government in the then East Pakistan. The Indian government repeatedly appealed to the international community for assistance but failed to elicit any response. The war began with Pakistan preemptive aerial strikes on 11 Indian Air Force stations, which led to India entering in a war with Pakistan on the side of Bengali nationalist forces. While Pakistan attacked first, the tide of the war turned quickly.
पहली बात ये है कि कोऑर्डिनेशन सक्सेस ऑफ द डिफेंस सर्विसेज या लड़ाई के लिए बिल्कुल ज़रूरी है और हमने जो लड़ाई लड़ी है इंडिया में मेरे को जो मालूम है इतनी कोऑर्डिनेशन कभी नहीं हुई जितनी कि 71 में हुई है.
The Indian Navy, which was roped in for the first time in a war after India's independence, proved to be a nightmare for Pakistan. The destroyers of the Indian Navy bombed the port of Karachi to disable the offensive capabilities of the Pakistani Navy and sank several naval vessels of Pakistan. Meanwhile, India's first aircraft carrier INS Vikrant kept the airspace over the naval front in check.
यहाँ पर एक डिस्ट्रॉयर INS राजपूत सुबह ही सुबह जब बाहर आया हार्बर से तो उन्होंने अपने जो सोनार सेट है उसके ऊपर डिटेक्शन मिली उन्हें. तो उस वक्त ये होता है कि शक भी हो कि सबमरीन है या नहीं, यू अपने डेप्थ चार्ज डाल दो. तो जैसे जहाज़ बाहर आया डिटेक्शन हुई तो सारे डेप्थ चार्ज डाल दिए गए और सब फटे, जिससे कि ये जो बाहर बैठे हुए थे उन्हें नुकसान पहुंचा. उनकी बैटरीज जो थी वो बर्स्ट हो गई तो वो उधर डूब गए.
The Indian Armed Forces, despite international pressure from countries like the US, UK and China, carried on with the war until the surrender by Pakistani forces.
लोग मुझे कह रहे हैं कि 7th फ्लीट आ रहा है. बहुत हमारे बाबू लोग जो हैं मिनिस्टर लोग ज़रा डरे थे. दूसरी बात उन्होंने कहा अच्छा जो वो अपनी फ़ौज वहाँ लाएंगे, तो मैं कहा मुझे बिल्कुल डर नहीं है. फिर तो मैं अपने आप को कहूँ मैं सबसे बड़ा जनरल बना हूँ कि पाकिस्तान को भी हराया और अमेरिकन को भी हराया. मगर मैन टू मैन नहीं लड़ सकते किसी और मुल्क में. उनको लड़ने का क्या मतलब, उनको क्या था, मुझे बिल्कुल डर नहीं थी.
On 16th December, after losing all hopes, Lieutenant General A.A.K. Niazi, the commander of Pakistani Eastern Command, signed the document instrument of surrender in Dhaka in the presence of Lieutenant General Jagjit Singh Arora of the Indian Army, which marked the surrender of the Pakistani forces. The war involved some of the fiercest battles fought after World War II, where the Indian Armed Forces upheld their ethos and principles and exemplified unwavering courage in the face of adversity and challenges. Akshay Dongre, DD India.
Well, Vijay Divas is being commemorated across the country and paying tribute to the brave hearts. The President of India posted on social media, and I quote, "The nation remembers the gratitude, the selfless sacrifice made by our armed forces during the 1971 war. On Vijay Divas, I pay homage to the brave hearts who displayed unparalleled courage and achieved historic victory." Prime Minister Narendra Modi also paid homage to the brave hearts. In a social media post, he said, and I quote, "Today on Vijay Divas, we pay heartfelt tributes to all the brave heroes who dutifully served India in 1971, ensuring a decisive victory. Their valor and dedication remain a source of immense pride for the nation. Their sacrifices and unwavering spirit will forever be etched in the people's hearts and our nation's history. India salutes their courage and remembers their indomitable spirit." The Indian stock markets enjoyed a highly profitable week. Experts say the markets are poised to do even better as the rally will continue. More in this report. On the 14th and 15th of December, the Indian stock markets made history. The major indices opening each day at fresh lifetime highs and hitting new peaks. Over the last month, the 30-share sensitive index of the Bombay Stock Exchange, the BSE Sensex, has gained 8.65% or 5,689.02 points, closing at a fresh closing high of 71,483.75. It hit a new lifetime high on December 15 of 71,605.76. Similarly, the broader 50-share index of the National Stock Exchange, the Nifty, gained 8.74% or 1,724.85 points, closing at a new closing high of 21,456.65 and hitting a fresh lifetime peak of 21,492.30 on Friday.
What it indicates is that India's corporates are doing very well. It also indicates that over the past 8 or 9 years, corporates have deleveraged very effectively and so are now well positioned to grow at a good pace going forward. They're growing at a sustainable pace, having deleveraged. And you're seeing very strong corporate earnings growth, which of course is ultimately dependent on the strength of the economy.
After India's strong economic performance in the first 2 quarters of the fiscal 2024, the Asian Development Bank revised upwards its forecast of India's economic growth rate to 6.7% for FY24.
With the economy likely growing over 8%, you have very strong corporate earnings growth, and that translates to a good stock market performance. This is a very different kind of stock market. If you look around the world, there have been speculative surges in other places. But India has outperformed most emerging markets in the last 10, 20, 30 years, in any sort of horizon you look at.
India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman had told Parliament that the economy was moving in the right direction and India had become the fastest growing major economy in the world. She said the macroeconomic fundamentals are fine and that India's Q2 growth of 7.6% is the highest in the world. She also said that inflation had stabilized within the 2 to 6% range of the RBI.
This is an article which was published in Wall Street Journal, a leading US newspaper, on 28th November. It's not something which is old, 28th November. The title of that article was interesting. It said, "Virtually everything has gone right for India." And in that it says, Rupee has lost, and I quote, "Rupee has lost less than 1% of its value against the US dollar this year, compared with the decline of more than 3% for the Chinese yuan, a roughly 9% fall in the South African rand, and an 11% slide in the Japanese yen. Indian economy is benefiting from reforms put in place by the government of Prime Minister Modi," unquote. This is Wall Street Journal telling about the Indian rupee versus the US dollar.
During most of 2023, India's leadership of the G20 exposed world leaders and their representatives to India's economic reforms. India's direct benefit transfer system was recognized as a logistical marvel, given the country's size. CEOs from major business houses have expressed their interest in India's growth story. India is expected to be the world's third largest economy by 2030, with a GDP of around $7.3 trillion by then. India is now being seen as the biggest investment destination. India is at the forefront of discussions on alliances and strategic partnerships with governments across North America, Europe, and the Global South. Bureau Report, DD India. And we're going to take a short break at this point of time. Do stay with us.
Whatever it takes.
Connecting corners, cutting across continents.
Stories that matter from across the globe.
Accurate, authentic journalism that serves you right. From politics to glamour, from sports to world affairs, with a fusion of aesthetics and substance. Introducing news in a new avatar. Experience the world through a new lens. Stay tuned to DD India for an exciting journey beyond borders.
In a world that never stops, where information shapes our reality, one app stands out, helps you stay ahead of time. Introducing the DD India app, your gateway to a world of news right at your fingertips. Your most trusted source of news goes global, goes digital. Explore a world of options, top stories, live updates, in-depth analysis, and more. Stay informed wherever you are. Real-time alerts keep you ahead of the curve always. The DD India app, connecting you to the world one story at a time. Download now and explore the world of knowledge, insights, and authentic information.
Welcome to Jaipur.
We just don't bring you the news as it unfolds. We get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts. We demystify complex social, political, and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, D.C.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times.
Swagatam to Andhra Pradesh, the coastal jewel of India. A state steeped in history. From the Gandi Kota Fort to the majestic Gondapalli Fort. A region known as the Rice Bowl of India. A holy land with rivers Krishna and Godavari flowing through it. Every part of this land tells a story of culture and devotion. And of a modern, developed, vibrant India. The graceful Kuchipudi and exuberant Dhimsa showcase the artistic brilliance of this land. The Ikkat and Kalamkari speak of the talent of artisans and their skilled hands. A cultural concoction that unites people in the spirit of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam.
Welcome to Delhi.
narrator of umpteen tales, creator of historic folklore, to the Delhi of today that is proud of its past, to the Delhi of tomorrow that's charting a glorious future, to lanes, to foods, to ever-changing city moods, to walls, to historic gates, and everything in between, to art, to theatre, and an ode to the inner creator, to bhavans, to path, to melting pot of cultures, to a kaleidoscope of celebrations, to ghazals, to guftagus, to green spaces, to shrines, to deities.
Welcome back, and going back to our top story on the visit of Sultan bin Tariq to India, the state visit, we are joined by our guest, Ambassador Anil Wadhwa, former senior diplomat who served as India's ambassador to Oman. Thank you very much, Ambassador Wadhwa. Now, we see that the two leaders, they reviewed political, security, defense, trade, economic, cultural, and people-to-people ties. I mean, it seems pretty wide and deep. How deep are the ties between India and Oman?
Well, Oman is India's strategic partner. It's an oldest strategic partner in the region and a closest neighbor. It's also a very important integral part of all the important groupings in the region. The GCC, the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, the Arab League, and actually it's his ability to manage rival ideologies and power games in the region makes it vitally important for India. In fact, both India and Oman consider themselves as ambassadors of peace, and they enjoy goodwill across ideologies in the world. And Oman is a gateway for India to West Asia. Also, with the ongoing Israel-Hamas war testing the region and its limits, I think the visit of Oman's Sultan is timely. It's very important for India and for the region.
Indeed, and India and Oman share people-to-people ties that are over 5,000 years old. The Kingdom of Oman has also now a vital role, as you say, in the Gulf region. From the defense point of view and counter-terrorism cooperation point of view, how important is Oman as a partner? India shares defense ties in all the three services. That's the Army, Navy, and Air Force.
Yes, actually, the defense cooperation with Oman, Oman was one of the first countries with whom India started its defense cooperation in the region. And in fact, you rightly said that there are all three wings of the services, which is Army, Navy, and Air Force, with whom India and Oman have bilateral exercises. Also, there is a certain relationship which exists between the services of exchange of equipment, which is not recent. It's quite old, in fact. And even on a small scale, when it started, it's continued. Now we are in a different situation where Oman is actually looking at investments in the Indian defense corridors to see if its needs for its services are fulfilled at much cheaper costs. Because Oman has been buying all its equipment in the past from the Western countries, especially the UK, Italy, etc. And it would be beneficial for Oman to actually diversify and also get into the joint production stage.
Prime Minister Modi says that trade, culture, and common priorities have spanned thousands of years. And now he talks about a bright future to build on a glorious history. In the context of India as a rising power, how do these ties expand? And talk a little bit about the vision, a joint vision. It looks at 10 different points. I mean, I can enumerate them all for you. Maritime cooperation, connectivity, energy security, space, digital payments, health, tourism, hospitality, hospitality partnership, disaster management, agriculture, food security, and cricket.
These are very carefully chosen points. In fact, I think the joint statement, joint vision statement is really well crafted, because these are exactly the areas where India and Oman can cooperate going forward. We saw an example of this happening in space already, where the relationship has progressed quite fast. Apart from these 8, we also have a very quick progress in the FTA with Oman, which is going to be similar as far as the UAE is concerned. And Oman is quite keen that since the GCC agreement is not going through, that we should be able to follow the same pattern. Now, in all these other fields that have been named in the joint vision statement, all of them, in fact, maritime cooperation and connectivity is very important. That's why it's been put at the top, because Oman in the region is a strategic partner of India. The logistic support that Oman provides today is very important for India. And in energy security, Oman is also developing its green energy, just like India has a vision of developing its green energy. So there again, India and Oman can cooperate quite well. And our digital payment systems, the whole stack of it, will be very appropriate for Oman. In fact, there was there's another agreement signed today, which is very important, which is in the information technology side.
Yes.
And along with that, the digital payment stack would become an important component of the bilateral cooperation. Oman also wants to diversify away from oil, which everybody knows. So therefore, tourism and hospitality become important for Oman. And in the context of what we have signed with Oman in maritime security, disaster management of the region is also very important. Oman frequently has incidences off its coast where India is already cooperating with Oman. How to take it forward and make it more refined is the issue. And the final point about food security and cricket. Well, food security, as you know, Oman has been looking for rice and sugar and wheat security as far as India is concerned for quite some time now, trying to do it on a cooperative basis. And cricket, Oman is an emerging country which is doing very well in cricket, and so it would benefit a lot with cooperation from India.
Indeed. So there's a lot to look forward in the future. But, if we look at Oman being invited to the G20 summit when India was the president as a special invitee, and also throughout the presidency of India, Oman actively participated in about 150 working group meetings. What does it show? I mean, it shows that probably there's a lot of convergence on global agenda, but also looking at India's vision for the global south together.
I think India did very well to invite Oman as one of the 9 countries to the G20. Oman responded to the best of its capacity by sending as many as 9 ministers and attending those 150 working group meetings, even though it's very, very thinly stretched, in terms of its manpower back home. I know that it's for a fact because I served there for 4 years. So it must have required a lot of effort on their part to actually attend those meetings and contribute to the best of their ability. So they made the best use of that opportunity. And I think the contacts that the Omani ministers have made with their counterparts here, plus the officials who have met the Indian officials during those meetings, they will stand us in good stead in the coming years.
Ambassador Anil Wadhwa, thank you very much for joining us and putting this into context, this important visit, the state visit of the Sultan of Oman to India. Still to come here on DD India News Hour. Scientists say this is the most significant solar flare occurrence since 2017. Multiple changes in India's squad against South Africa for the tests and ODIs.
Wherever news breaks, whatever it takes.
Connecting corners, cutting across continents.
Stories that matter from across the globe.
Accurate, authentic journalism that serves you right. From politics to glamour, from sports to world affairs, with a fusion of aesthetics and substance. Introducing news in a new avatar. Experience the world through a new lens. Stay tuned to DD India for an exciting journey beyond borders. You're watching DD India News Hour. My name is Mark Lin. Moving on, Kuwait's Emir Sheikh Nawaf, Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmad Al-Sabah died on Saturday, aged 86, according to the royal court, just over 3 years after he assumed power. The cause of his death was not immediately disclosed, and the emir was admitted to hospital late last month due to what the state news agency has described as an emergency health problem, but they said that he was in a stable condition. The Crown Prince, Sheikh Meshal Al-Ahmad Al-Sabah, who's 83, has been Kuwait's de facto ruler since 2021, in fact, when the frail emir had handed over most of his duties and was named as Sheikh Nawaf's successor. Now, Kuwait announced 40 days of mourning as well as 3 days of closure of official departments, and world leaders paid their tribute to the Sheikh Nawaf and also offered their condolences to his successor Sheikh Meshal and the Al-Sabah family and the people of Kuwait as well. In fact, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi condoled on the demise of the Emir of Kuwait. In a tweet, the Prime Minister said, and I quote, "Deeply saddened to learn about the unfortunate demise of His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmad Al-Jabbar Al-Sabah. We convey our deepest condolences to the royal family, the leadership and the people of Kuwait." Israeli and Qatari officials, they were set to meet in Norway as the countries aim to revive their talks about the release of hostages held by Hamas in Gaza in return for a ceasefire and also the freeing of Palestinian prisoners held by Israel. As per a media report, the meet aims to revive talks about the release of the hostages held in Gaza in return for a ceasefire and the freeing of Palestinian prisoners held in Israel. And this report also says that the Qatari Prime Minister was due to meet the director of Israel's Mossad intelligence agency in Oslo. That media report also said that significant obstacles impede the resumption of negotiations on the new hostage deal, including disagreements over the possible terms with Hamas. Well, a hostage who was mistakenly killed by the Israeli military while being held hostage in Gaza by Islamist group Hamas was laid to rest at a funeral in southern Israel on Saturday. Citing an initial inquiry into the incident that has shaken the country, the Israeli military officials said that 3 Israeli hostages had been holding up a white flag. More than 100 Israeli hostages are still, in fact, held by Hamas in Gaza. It has moved away from the daily media glare, but Russia continues its special military operation in Ukraine, and Ukraine continues with its effort to take back territories that Russia has occupied by force and claimed as its own. Mihir Maikuri gives us a 360-degree roundup.
Saturday is day 661 of the Ukraine-Russia conflict. Thousands have died and millions displaced, but the fighting rages on. On Saturday alone, Ukraine's air defense and mobile groups of drone hunters shot down 30 out of 31 Russian drones in 11 regions across the country. As per Ukrainian authorities, no casualties or major damage were reported in Kiev. As Ukraine accuses Russia of targeting the nation's power and energy infrastructure during and ahead of the critical cold months of winter, Moscow has denied targeting Ukraine's civilian infrastructure. Reportedly, Russia plans to test launch 7 intercontinental ballistic missiles in 2024. Citing the commander of Russia's strategic missile forces, a news agency reported that Russia gave the United States at least 24 hours notice of such launches, and Washington afforded Moscow the same courtesy. Meanwhile, citing Putin's supporters, Russian news agencies have reported that Vladimir Putin will run for president again as an independent candidate with a wide support base but not on a party ticket. This claim has come after an initiative group made up of more than 700 politicians and figures from the sporting and cultural worlds met on Saturday in Moscow and unanimously endorsed Putin's nomination as an independent candidate. And with an aim to uproot the influence of priests it alleges maintain close links to Russia and subvert Ukrainian society, Ukraine placed the head of Russia's Orthodox Church and a backer of the Kremlin's 21-month-old war against Kiev on a wanted list after security forces accused him of abetting the conflict. Mihir Makri reporting for DD India.
Well, India's travel and tourism industry, known for its rich cultural heritage and diverse landscapes, attracts millions of visitors from across the world. Now, the sector continues to thrive with strategic investments envisioning substantial growth and modernization. Jessica Taneja reports.
From the captivating fusion of diverse landscapes and rich cultural experiences to a vibrant culinary scene coupled with warm hospitality, India has become a compelling and immersive choice for discerning travelers across the world. This year, India welcomed over 6.43 million foreign tourists, further bolstering the nation's third largest foreign exchange earning sector. Now the world's fast-growing aviation market is prepped to facilitate smooth travel for passengers by expanding its airport facilities and also ensuring smooth check-in through its travel app, the Digi Yatra.
The Digi Yatra app has been used by passengers to either arrive at particular airports and board planes. In the next phase, which is in calendar year 2024, we are going to take up first 14 more airports that we are adding on to Digi Yatra. And in the second phase, 11 more airports, so a total of 25 more airports in calendar year 2024.
After experiencing brief disruptions triggered by the pandemic, India's tourism sector is poised to evolve into a $1 trillion industry by 2047. With India opening its doors by allowing 100% FDI for tourism construction projects, the government is leaving no stone unturned in transforming India into a world-class connecting hub and a sought-after destination for both tourists and businesses. Poised for substantial growth, the tourism sector stands to benefit from the government initiatives in airport construction, backed by an $11.9 billion investment, ensuring improved infrastructure and connectivity in the future. Jessica Taneja for DD India.
Well, let's take a look at other stories making the news. India's lower house, the Speaker of the lower house, Om Birla, on Saturday said that a high-level inquiry committee has been constituted for an in-depth investigation of the Parliament security breach. In a letter to the members of Parliament, the Speaker expressed his grave concern about this incident. He said that the committee has started working and the report will be shared soon. India's University Grants Commission has notified on Saturday that no foreign higher educational institution will offer any program in India without the prior approval of the UGC. In a social media post, the UGC chairman, M. Jagdish Kumar, said that such programs will not be recognized by the Commission. The UGC also said that action will be taken against the higher educational institutions which violate the rules. A powerful solar flare has erupted from the sun, which scientists say is the most significant solar flare occurrence since 2017. Using extreme ultraviolet rays, NASA Solar Dynamics Observatory has captured the eruption. The coronal mass ejections resulting from these solar flares have the potential to power grids as well as other critical infrastructure on Earth. Let's quickly get you through some sports news now. The multiple changes have taken place in India's squad against South Africa for the tests and ODIs. The fast bowler Deepak Chahar has withdrawn from the ODIs due to a family medical emergency, and Mohammad Shami has been ruled out as well from the tests because of an injury. The BCCI said that Akash Deep will replace Chahar in the one-day squad and in the ODI series, which begins on Sunday. And pacer Mohammad Shami failed to regain fitness on time and has been ruled out from the two-match test series against South Africa starting December 26. After the conclusion of the first ODI, the batter Shreyas Iyer will join the test squad to prepare for the test series. Novak Djokovic and Aryna Sabalenka have been honoured by the International Tennis Federation as the ITF World Champions in 2023. They are the only singles players to reach at least the semi-finals at all 4 Grand Slam tournaments this year. Djokovic finished #1 in the ATP rankings for a record-extending 8th time. He won the Australian Open, French Open and the US Open and was runner-up in Wimbledon. Sabalenka received the honour for the first time after winning the Australian Open for her first Grand Slam title, finishing as the runner-up at the US Open and making it to the semi-finals of the French Open and Wimbledon. The Embassy of India in Saudi Arabia commemorated Veer Yodha Samman Divas. It honours the armed forces veterans in a special event, and this in fact coincided with the Punya Tithi of the Bharat Ratna Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and the eve of Vijay Divas, signifying the decisive victory of the Indian Armed Forces, as we said, over Pakistan in 1971. Now, this event featured heartfelt messages from veterans who reminisced about their experiences and also in the forces, and they shared their insights about their lives in Saudi Arabia. And now let's look at some visuals of a light show and a cultural program held in the iconic Victoria Memorial in Kolkata, organized by the Indian Army's Eastern Command on the occasion of Vijay Divas.
और दुश्मन की मशीन गने 4 कोर के कमांडर लेफ्टिनेंट जनरल सगत सिंह ने सिलहट गैरिसन के नजदीक गोरखा बटालियन साथ पले आगे भी साथ साथ जाएंगे दोनों मिलकर हाँ बांग्लादेश के साथ.
That's all we have in this edition of DD India News Hour. Let's know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. My name is Mark Lynn. From all of us here in DD India, thanks very much for watching News Hour. Namaskar.
विशाल है ना.